Hello, hello, and welcome back to the prediction show. I'm Elmo,
I'm Tuna.
and this week we are going over the last 2 game weeks and predicting the next 2 game weeks because we're playing weekend and midweek again. So we've not been doing too great with the predictions as a whole. I've definitely been doing absolutely awful. So let's see how things are going with game week 19, I believe. It's game week 20.
Yeah, I'm 21.
So let's start off with game week 20 then. So we started off with Crystal Palace versus West Ham and 3-2 to West Ham. So this was a decent game. But I had 2-1 to Crystal Palace. So I got nothing, which is a recurring theme.
Yeah, goals galore in that game. More than I expected, but I had West Ham winning 2-1, so I managed to get a point in that one. In the next game, Newcastle played Leeds, which was a goal fest last time out, and decent one this time. Leeds winning 2-1. I got 2-0 to Leeds in this one, so I managed to get another point here.
Yeah, Newcastle's just hit and miss, and you can go against them or with them, and they're just too complacent. I went 2-2, so I expected a draw. Next, we have Southampton versus Arsenal. Arsenal winning 3-1, and I had 2-1 to Southampton.
Yeah, I had the same as you on this one, so our runs of predicting the same and being wrong have continued.
Mm.
Next one was West Brom versus Manchester City, which Manchester City won 5-0. And we both had big scores we expected, but not this big. I went for 4-0, so I get a point here.
Yeah, I just went 3-0, so at least I get a point, my first point of the game week. I think the thing with City is we predict big and they don't score that many, so this time they just wanted to get one or two over on us.
I will make a note on this one. When we made our predictions, I actually wrote down 5-0 and didn't say 5-0. So I managed to cost myself a perfect score like an idiot.
Yep. Next, we got Burnley versus Aston Villa, and Burnley won 3-2 in another high scoring game. But I went 1-0 to Aston Villa, so again, I got nothing.
Yeah, I also backed Aston Villa. Perhaps we're both a bit harsh on Burnley because they've had some decent results, but I went 2-1 to Aston Villa, so nothing for me there. Chelsea then played Wolves, which put an end to the high scoring games. It was 0-0. I went 2-1 to Wolves, so incorrect there.
I went 2-1 to Chelsea, so I was incorrect as well. And Brighton versus Fulham, another 0-0 in a row. And again, I went 2-1 to the home team.
Yeah, I called this one a big game down at the bottom, so perhaps we should have seen 0-0 come in, but I went for 1-1, so I managed to get a point there. Everton first Leicester finished 1-1 because of course it did, because I predicted Everton to do something. I predicted them to lose 2-1, so no points for me.
And I predicted Leicester to win 2-0. I'm sick of predicting Leicester to win and then letting me down now and again. Next up, we can skip this one if you want, but Manchester United versus Sheffield United, the team at the bottom that's only got one win. They made 2 wins this year with a 2-1 win against Man United. I went 4-1 to Man United, so I was completely wrong.
Yeah, I went 3-0 to Manchester United as well, so I was just as wrong as you was, really. Um, Nobody saw that one come in. In the next game, though, Tottenham played Liverpool in what was probably the big game of the week, but he finished 3-1 to Liverpool. I went 2-1, so just that one goal out. But I get a point, and that puts me on 5 this week.
And I was looking at your form, and I went Tottenham 2-0, and obviously they let me down. So I got one for that game week. An absolute abysmal one.
It did, however, only put me 3 points ahead of you
Yeah,
in total, 99 playing 102. So, I mean, that shows the run that you had earlier on this season to give you that advantage
definitely.
that we can have, what, 2 game weeks in a row where I've outscored you by 4 and I've only just passed you. So,
I mean, apart from the long game week where you scored 10, To be honest with you, your scores haven't been that high. So I think it was definitely that I was having a lot of luck at the start more than you being better now. Because I think your scores are pretty much staying the same as what they have been. You've been quite consistent. I've just been having absolute abysmal weeks.
I think games have sort of become a bit more predictable than they were earlier in the season.
I'm glad you think so.
So, like, that's where I think you seem to excel is when things get a bit crazy because you, more often than me, throw out these results.
Mm.
Like, I'm trying to think of one now from the week just gone, and we've just gone over them, and I can't think of any.
I mean, like I say,
Uh,
I've been looking at form, and that's why I went against you against when you played Tottenham. I was looking at form with Newcastle and Leeds. Both teams hit
hmm.
and miss, and I couldn't call it, so I went to draw. So it's it's not so much me picking just crazy predictions. It is me looking at form, but I don't think any team's got any form this year.
I think my positive with obviously Liverpool has been a Liverpool fan. I've been sort of picking them based off my knowledge of previous results. So that's where I've had the advantage with that. But the rest of them, I'm literally just pulling numbers out of my backside,
Yeah.
praying for the best.
So let's see if I can make up any ground on game week 21, where we started with Everton versus Newcastle, and Newcastle won 2-0. Again, Newcastle's just so hit and miss. This isn't a game that you would have predicted before. I went 1-1, again, just because Newcastle and Everton are just so hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean, what happened here? I predicted Everton to win 2-1, so they went and lost, didn't they? Cheers, Carlo. Next up, we had Crystal Palace versus Wolves, which Crystal Palace won 1-0. I couldn't split these. On this one, I looked at form like you did. I went for 1-1 draw, so no points there for me either.
Again, two teams that's just very hit and miss. Crystal Palace have had the run of form, Wolves have had their run of form, and they've also had their runs of losses. I went 1-0 to Wolves, and obviously it was the opposite team. Then Man City versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United's second visit to Manchester within a few days, and this time they lost 1-0, and I predicted 2-1 to Man City, so I got a point, my first point in quite a while.
Yeah, I went for another big big Manchester City win, even 4-0. So a point for me. Should have seen it coming, really.
Hmm. Sheffield United gave them a decent game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think this is their ninth 1-0 defeat, something like that this season. So probably a bit harsh on them, to be fair. But it was a point. Next up was another pretty big clash down at the bottom of the table, West Brom versus Fulham, which finished 2-2. I got a point here. I went 1-1, so just a couple of goals away.
And I went 0-0. So we both got the same. We're both looking at the same lines, but both got points. And I'm actually equal with you, so I'm happy with this. We're 2-2.
Yes.
Let's go. Arsenal versus Man United. Obviously, I was hesitant to call it a big game, but maybe I should have thought about the big game that we usually call. It was 0-0, but I went 2-0 to Man United. I think that was more heart than head.
Yeah, I had Manchester United winning 1-0 as well. Again, sort of based off form. Obviously, we predicted these before the midweek games as well, but I think even after the defeat to Sheffield United, I'd still have gone with a Manchester United win here, but no points at all. Southampton then hosted Aston Villa, which Aston Villa got a win in this one, 1-0. I went 2-1 to Southampton, so no points for me there either.
Yeah, Southampton, on paper, better team than Villa. I went 2-0. Just, again, just unpredictable results. Then we got Chelsea versus Burnley. Chelsea, their form has been poor, but they've now got a new manager, and this is his first win, a 2-0 win against Burnley. I went 2-1 to Burnley, but I think this was before Lampard got sacked.
Yes, I think it was this one and the Wolves game midweek.
Yeah. So I were kind of thinking Lampard's still in charge and everything like that, but hey ho.
Yeah, I went 3-1 to Chelsea, so I got a point here. And I based this off the fact I had them losing against Wolves midweek, so then I expected them to bounce back and win. So I got a point, but in the wrong for the wrong reasons, basically. I'll take it. Leicester then played Leeds, which Leeds won 3-1. Perhaps another shock result there. We know Leeds can do it, but Leicester battling for top four at least. And I had Leicester to win 2-1 in this game.
Yeah, I had Leicester to win 3-1. I've said this many times. I think Leicester is one of the big teams that I think are challenging for the title. You've had Liverpool up there, you've got Man City up there, Man United was up there for a bit. But I think that Leicester are the team that they're the team that if they're first or if they're fifth, no one's talking about them. If Man United, Man City, Liverpool, if they're first or fifth, the media and everybody's talking about them. So Leicester, like, they're just silently just going along as they are.
Yeah, and I think I speak for a lot of fans that are typically in the title race. If your team can't win it, Leicester are the ones that you'd like to win it over the others.
Yeah,
I know me as a Liverpool fan, I'd rather Leicester win than Man City or Man United, definitely. So
definitely. I think we all love Jamie Vardy as well, don't we? Next up, we've got West Ham versus Liverpool. I went 4-1. It was 3-1. I was just one goal off. I did kind of say that I thought with Liverpool's bad run of form, obviously this was before they beat Tottenham 3-1. I just thought that they was going to come and they was going to batter somebody, and this was the team.
yeah, and I got a perfect score on this one. I went 3-1 as well. Again, just based off my knowledge of previous results, that we normally score three past West Ham, and I knew our backline was shaky, so probably a bit of luck really there getting that one right. But
Yeah.
I think that's where my knowledge and results come in handy. Where it didn't come in handy was Brighton versus Tottenham, which Brighton won 1-0. Another shock result then. Poor form for Tottenham continuing. I had Tottenham to win 2-1 in this one, so no points for me.
And I had Tottenham win 2-0. The second game that I predicted Tottenham to win 2-0, and they've lost both of them. So, get fucked. I think two key words that you've said through game week 21 is another, well, take out the another, sorry, shock result. And again, I think this, when we were talking about game week 20, there's just too many shock results right now. That's why, that's what I'm basing my poor run of form on predictions. It's just that it is so unpredictable. Brighton, I've had them winning so many times and they've let me down.
Yeah.
That I go against them and they throw in these wins.
I think this is now the culmination of the amount of games that people have played as well. It really does seem to be catching up to some teams. Obviously, Man United, Tottenham with their early season run in the Europa League as well. It looks to be catching them up. A lot of big players picking up injuries as well. Obviously, Harry Kane, De Bruyne, Vardy, just to name a couple recently. So it is so unpredictable at the moment. So I've gone for 0-0 for every game.
I think over the next month and a half, 2 months, something like that, I think that's where it's going to be completely different, because what we've had over the past, say, 2 months is pretty much most teams playing midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend. Coming up over the next month, we've got, in a couple of weeks, we've got midweek games, but that's an FA Cup game. So if you're not in the FA Cup, there's a team like Liverpool, for example, that's just one team that I know that isn't in it. But Liverpool get to rest some players that week, and they haven't got to focus so much on, swapping players around and everything like that. But then in a couple of weeks after that, that's when Champions League and Europa League starts again. If you're in Champions League, you play your first leg, but then you play your second leg the month after. Europa League, for teams like Arsenal and Man United, they play the first leg one week and then the second leg the second week. So again, the teams that aren't in these competitions, like the FA Cup or Europe, they're getting the breaks that they've needed, or this is their chance to play their games that they've got in hand. Whereas the teams that are in Europe, the teams that are in the FA Cup, they're still going along, and that's where the likes of Man United could possibly lose some more games just because they play more games again and they might pick up some more injuries.
The teams that aren't in these competitions have got multiple midweeks where they can rest players. And no disrespect to teams lower down the table and your smaller teams, they're going to have less players flying off on international duty these weeks, and that's on as well. So they've got opportunity to rest potentially key players as well. So I think we're going to see a lot more shock results as the season goes on.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the league table. So it's all changed at the top with Man City. They're top by 3 points, but they've also got a game in hand. Manchester United are second, 21 games played with 41 points. Liverpool just 1 point behind Man United with the same games played. Then we've got Leicester on 39 points, West Ham on 35, and Tottenham on 33. But Tottenham do have a game in hand. They're in sixth. Chelsea, hopefully, well, I'm sure Chelsea fans are hoping that the new manager comes in and can get them back into the top four. They're on 33 points. Everton in 8th with 33 points, but they've got 2 games in hand, just like Aston Villa, 1 point behind them, just below them. So again, they win their games in hand. That could take them into the top 5. Then we've got Arsenal in 10th, Southampton in 11th, Leeds United in 12th. Southampton, Leeds United have also got a game in hand. Crystal Palace 13th, Wolves 14th, Newcastle 15th, Burnley 16th, again another team with a game in hand, Brighton 17th, and a whole 7 points clear, Brighton, of the bottom 3. So you have got Fulham, they have got 1 game in hand, but they're currently there on 14 points, West Brom on 12 points, and then bottom, but picking up some form, starting to look a lot better and starting to, obviously they got the win against Man United. They really made Man City work for their 1-0 win, but Sheffield United bottom still with 8 points. There's a big gap between that and outside the relegation.
Yeah, there's a big gap between Brighton in 17th, Fulham in 18th. You sort of look at that and are we already confirming our 3 relegated teams?
Well, this is it. I mean, like I say, Sheffield United in 2021, they are looking at a different team. They're still getting the losses, but they're looking better.
Despite the gap between them, West Brom and Fulham, and then Brighton, if I was to pick one of these 3 teams that are going to get out of this situation based on what we've seen recently, Sheffield United are that pick.
Yeah.
And could you imagine we'd be saying this 3-4 weeks ago when we were talking about them potentially being the worst Premier League team in history?
I mean,
and now we're talking about could they pull off the biggest escape ever?
We've been well, I definitely have been joking about them getting less points than Derby and the 11-point season, but they're 3 points away from that now. So 1 win and a draw, and they're not as bad as Derby that year. This is getting interesting now. And again, if they happen to play some of the teams that's in Europe around the end of February, March time, when they're playing in European games, this is where they could get another couple of shock results.
Yeah, definitely. And the key one for Fulham to potentially look at staying up is their game in hand is against Burnley, who are obviously the team 8 points above them. So if Fulham can win that, then maybe, they can suck Burnley into that fight, and it's going to be interesting. In fact, it's interesting all over the table for possibly the first time in many, many years. I know we started the season late and we've only just got halfway through, but there's potential real fight for everything, title, European places, and relegation.
I think one key thing for me with Sheffield United and their bounce back is the fact that even though if you have a look at the bookies, he's been there, but they're not. The board aren't looking to get rid of Wilder. There's been no signs of them potentially getting rid of him and bringing somebody else in. They're keeping their faith with him because of what he's done for them over the past couple of years. You look at West Brom, obviously they got rid and they brought in Allardyce, and Allardyce hasn't looked good at all.
Now, at time of recording, fourth favourite to be sacked in the Premier League at the moment. And he's been there for 4 weeks.
So that could be the key difference. The fact that they've stuck with Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, the players having the faith, and the, 2 wins in 5 games, that could be the start of the momentum what they need. And their next game is against West Brom.
It is.
So that could put them 1 point behind West Brom if they win that. So let's go to game week 22 then. And let's start these predictions, which I'm really starting to hate because I'm doing so bad. But midweek games again, all of these were on BT Sport, just like they was last midweek. We start off on Tuesday at 6 o'clock with the game that we've just been talking about, Sheffield United versus West Brom. And I've gone for a 2-0 win to Sheffield United.
Yeah, and I've got Sheffield United winning this as well, but I've gone 2-1 in this one. And again, like we just mentioned, the far cry from a few weeks ago when you were saying you can't see you predicting Sheffield United to win another game this season. And now we're both backing them in this game, and to be fair, I just can't see West Brom even getting a point.
I think even if Sheffield United hadn't won against us and they didn't have the other win, I still think I'd go for Sheffield United winning this one just because of how poor West Brom are looking at the moment. And I just don't understand why teams keep bringing Allardyce in. It shouldn't be a manager that any Premier League team's looking at anymore. It should be working in Championship, for my opinion, anyway.
I fully agree with that.
6 o'clock, again, also on BT Sport, we've got Wolves versus Arsenal.
Yeah, and another team that aren't looking too good in Wolves. Obviously, the horrific injury to Jimenez sort of stopped any momentum they had. They have brought in strikers on loan in the window, but I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win here.
So I've gone the same, so it's definitely not going to be a 2-1 win to Arsenal. Next up...
Maybe this is where it ends.
Nah. 8:15, we have Man United versus Southampton. I've got this being a close one, and I've gone 2-2.
Okay. I've also got a close one, but I've got Manchester United winning 2-1 in this one. I'm expecting to bounce back from the past 3 games really in the league. They've been pretty poor results if you consider the form they were in. But I think they'll bounce back against Southampton, who are in even worse form at the moment.
I'm hoping so, but like I said before recording the video, I think I'm going too much with my heart and not my head. So this time I've gone with my head. Southampton are a good team. They gave us a good game last time, and I think they'll give us a good game this time. 8:15 on Tuesday again, we have Newcastle versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, 2 teams that I can't split. They're either fantastic weeks or terrible weeks. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw in this one.
I was thinking exactly the same. I mentioned about Newcastle in the last 2 games. Crystal Palace are the same, but I've gone for a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace this time. Wednesday starts us off at 6 o'clock with Burnley versus Man City. I've gone for a 1-0 win to Burnley.
Okay. You really are back in Burnley recently, aren't you?
I keep trying.
I've gone for a Man City win, but I've sort of changed my tactic a little bit here. I've gone for a 2-0 Man City win. And it's definitely 2-0 this time. I'm looking at it, it's 2-0.
Next, we have Fulham versus Leicester at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm back in Leicester. It was just a case of what I thought the score was going to be. The missing Vardy. And I think they'll have just about enough, so I'm going for a 2-1 Leicester win.
So I've gone for 2-0. Fulham's just too far down there. They could shock us. There's been quite a few shock results, but I think they're just too far down there, and Leicester, they're another team that need to bounce back. Next, we have Leeds United versus Everton at 7:30. I've gone for a 2-1 win to Leeds United.
Okay, well, I have the same on this one.
Two in
2-1
a
win
week.
for Leeds, which is my 51 this week. Uh, I was tempted to predict Everton to win, just had they lost. But
If I'd have known that you were predicting against Everton, I'd go for Everton.
yeah,
Quarter
I
past
don't see when
8.
that run's going to end.
8:15, we have Aston Villa versus West Ham.
Yeah, another interesting one. Two teams in claret. Two teams sort of hit and miss, but I think West Ham are the better teams. I've gone for a 1-0 West Ham win.
I've gone for a West Ham win as well, but I've gone for 2-1.
I was tempted with 2-1, but like I mentioned before we started, I couldn't bring myself to do another 2-1 this week, so it might backfire.
The last game on Wednesday at 8:15, we have Liverpool versus Brighton. I've gone for a 3-1 win to not to Brighton. 3-1 win to Liverpool.
Well, this is game number 3 where we're the same this week because I've also got 3-1 Liverpool.
God. I'm not changing. I refuse to change. But it's good that we've got 3 because that means that there are 3 games that you're not going to get points over me. So
Very true.
there's that. Thursday at 8:00, just one game, and that's Spurs versus Chelsea. The big game of the week.
The big game, so I've done it. I've gone for 6. No, I've gone for 0-0.
I've gone for 2-1 to Tottenham. Tottenham need to bounce back. They are struggling right now.
I didn't go 0-0 because of it being a big game. I went for 0-0 because Tottenham have no Kane and Chelsea have Werner.
There's that, and there's also the fact that Mourinho's going to park the bus against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. So, the next lot of games is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're going to start having Monday games because, again, there's not going to be midweek games. So we start off 12:30 on Saturday on BT Sport, and it's Aston Villa versus Arsenal. And I'm looking at the prediction that I've put, and I don't know why I've put it, but I'm going with it. 1-1.
But for a second, you're going to say the same as me. I've got Aston Villa winning 1-0.
Okay.
Don't have a reason.
No, that's a weird one, that.
Yeah, I think I've predicted Aston Villa to lose for a few weeks in a row, so I thought at some point they're going to get a win. Why not against Arsenal?
Maybe. 3:00 on Sky Sports, we have Burnley versus Brighton.
Yeah, we're just going for the alliterations this week. The game of the A's and now the game of the B's. I think Brighton are going to win this one 2-1, but it's a tough one to call.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1 as well to Brighton. Oh, no. These 2 game weeks are going to be bad. 3:00, but on BT Sport, we have Newcastle versus Southampton. I've gone 3-0 to Southampton.
But we've done this again. I've gone 3-1 to Southampton.
So we've both got no faith in Newcastle at the moment, which is quite
No.
right at the moment. I don't think Newcastle fans have got faith in Newcastle at the moment. 5:30 on Sky Sports, we have Fulham versus West Ham. Fulham need points.
They do. West Ham also need points if they want to continue their battle for European places. And I've got West Ham winning 3-0.
Yeah, I've gone for West Ham winning 2-1. I think that West Ham's going to be the better team, but I've got Fulham getting a goal. Next up, 8:00 on Sky Sports, we have Man United versus Everton. And I've gone for a 2-0 win to Man United. We need to win. We need to bounce back. Come on.
I've gone for a 1-1 draw because I just couldn't bring myself to predict either of them to win this game. So just went down the middle.
They are two teams that you just do not want to win. You don't want none of them to win.
No, I mean, if I'd have predicted you to win, Everton would have won. Predicted Everton to win, then you would have won. So I'm hoping if I go for a draw, it's going to be a draw.
Next up on Sunday at 12 o'clock on BT Sport, we have Tottenham versus West Ham. No, we have Tottenham versus West Brom, the other West team.
We do. And again, a tough one. West Brom are terrible. And Tottenham at the moment are terrible. But I've got Tottenham winning 1-0.
Okay. I've gone for more goals in this. I've gone for a 3-1 win to Tottenham, just because it's against West Brom. I don't think they'll do much at all. Not while Allardyce is there anyway. 4 o'clock? I'm making so many mistakes this video. If there's loads of jump cuts like me, just like that, it's because I've cut them all out. 2 o'clock on Sky Sports, Wolves versus Leicester. I've gone for a 3-1 Leicester win.
Interesting. I've also gone for a Leicester win, but another 1-0.
You're being very reserved with your goals at the moment.
I'm just looking at players missing. And like I say, as much as I love Harvey Barnes and James Maddison, I think Leicester are going to struggle to get them in the positions they need to be in on a consistent basis without Vardy being there.
Potentially.
Of course, Vardy could back for this game for all I know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any timeline, so
4:30 on Sky Sports, the big game of the weekend, Liverpool versus Man City.
yeah. And again, I've sort of gone off my knowledge of these two teams. They're normally cagey affairs at the Etihad, which it was earlier this season, and the games at Anfield are normally quite entertaining. See quite a few goals. So I've gone 3-2 to Liverpool.
Wow. So I've gone for the big game mentality and I've gone 0-0. So, yeah, hopefully. 7:15 on Sky Sports, we have Sheffield United versus Chelsea. And I've gone for a 2-1 win to Sheffield United.
Interesting. I wouldn't look past it, except I did look past it because I went 3-0 to Chelsea. I think this is the point where we're going to see Tuchel's first real stamp on the team, and I think he'll make him go out to make a point. And I personally think Sheffield United may attack Chelsea, and that might play into Chelsea's hands.
I've gone on the fact that Sheffield United are picking up a bit of form at the moment. It might not last. This might be just where they just lose all the games. But I've also gone with the fact that Sheffield United's at home as well. Monday night, we have an 8 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports, and it's Leeds United versus Crystal Palace.
Yep, and I've gone for another goal fest in this one, and another 3-2 to Leeds.
They have been known for the goal fest this season, but I've gone for a 2-1 win to Leeds this week. So that's the predictions for the next 2 game weeks. So that's midweek and weekend. Currently, the scores stand 108 to 102 in favour of Tuna. So I need to get some points back. There's 4 games over the next 2 game weeks that were predicted the same.
Yep.
So feel free to get the correct scores in them. Let me get some 3 points.
Just so you can end your run.
Yeah.
I won't mention the amount of games it's been, don't worry.
You will do as soon as we end the
105!
I hate you.
So smack bang in the middle of the points we've got.
You'll be smack bang somewhere in a minute. So that's it this week. Please throw us your predictions as well, either in the comments below or send them on Twitter. We have started tweeting out a bit more. We've been gaining a few followers as well, which is good. So hopefully we can interact with you guys. Please drop a like on this video. Please subscribe to this video. Any interactions on these videos or any other videos help us massively, and it also helps us want to put out more content, not just the predictions ones. We've got some coming out this week for the Battle of the Bosses, and there's some other footballing content coming on this channel soon as well.
Yeah, also, don't hold back in the comments below. If you think we're idiots from some of our predictions, please do tell us.
Yeah. If you've watched to this point as well, please drop down in the bottom in the comments hashtag Tuna stupid. Then we know that you've watched to the end of the video. So I've been Elmo. See you later, guys.